Back when I had first started Author Magazine, one of the first interviews I did was with this woman who had written a novel, and it was her first novel, and she was traveling from Australia to promote the book here in the US. And I liked the book. I thought it did a lot of things really well. And again, I was new to interviewing, and I myself hadn't published a book yet, although I've been writing for years. And so I did sort of treat the authors I interviewed as in a different place than me, which I guess they were in certain ways, although in some cases I had been writing longer than them. But they had published their books. And so I kind of put them, I guess, above me a little bit. Not great, but I didn't know how not to do that. But anyway, there I am interviewing her. And again, I liked her book. I thought there was a lot of stuff about it that was really good. And in the course of the interview, or at the end of it, I mentioned this. I said, hey, you did some things really well. I love the way you handled this, and I love the way you handled that. And I could see her face light up, which at first surprised me just a little bit because it was as if she was a beginning writer, hearing from a professor that they'd written a good book. But I saw in that face the expression I had seen in my own and seen with all the artists I know of, like, oh, I reached somebody got it, somebody liked what I did. And she was really grateful, and it was a sweet moment. And then she said, well, Bill, was there anything you didn't like about the book? And I thought for a moment, because in fact, there were things that I didn't think worked as well. There were parts that I wasn't as interested in. But what I said to her was, look, one of my, if not my very favorite piece of music ever written is Beethoven's Ode to Joy, the final movement of his Ninth Symphony. I just love it. It moves me when I hear it still, no matter how many times I hear it. But if I'm honest, it goes on a little long for me. I don't need quite that much Ode to Joy. But if I had met Beethoven, would I tell him that? No. I would tell him how much it meant to me. I would tell him how much I love it. And I'd save that little quibble, that criticism for myself. And that's what I said to her. Yeah, but that's not important. And I think about this sometimes because people will tell you what they think of your work. And, look, book reviews, that's fine. That's their job. But I have to admit, once I am done with a book, not while I'm working on it. While I'm working on it, I'm happy to hear from my editor, my agent, people I look to for feedback as we hash the thing out. That's in the development, fine. But once the thing is written, there's no going back. And once the thing is written, I've made a bunch of choices. And I chose one way and not the other way. And that's what writing is. You choose a sentence. And every time you choose one sentence, there's another sentence probably you could have chosen. And sometimes people look at the choices you made and they don't like them. They wish you had chosen something else, but there's nothing I can do about it. And so, honestly, once I'm done with a book, I don't really want to hear about people who don't like it, or I don't want to hear from the people who wish I had done something else because I can't do it. Because here's the thing, by the time I'm finished with something, I've already got my ideas of what I would like to do differently going forward. I have already probably seen things in the book as I reread it that I think, wish I'd done that a little differently. And what I would like to have done differently might be something that they like. So yeah, I'm actually not really interested in what people don't like about my stuff because I'm moving on. But I do like to hear when people like it because I write this stuff, I make podcasts, I write stories and books to move people, to connect with people. And yes, I want to know when I've connected with them. It's a great feeling, just like when I share something I didn't create with someone and they love it. I love to hear that. We love knowing that we love the same thing. I think it's perfectly all right. We don't need to live our life in constant criticism. You make your choices at the time based on what you love most, you share it, and then you move on. You don't have to sit around biting your nails over what other people don't like. You can't you can't please everybody. You can't. Your job is to please yourself in that moment and do the best you can. And then let it find the readers who can be moved by it. And then let them tell you when they've been moved by it. But you don't have to honor all the criticism. You're going to keep making your choices. You're just going to keep making your choices. And every time you make one, you can't make another one. And that's life. You can't go backwards. You can only go forwards, just like your stories. They can only go forwards. They can only go forward. And then they reach the end. And then it's time for a new one. Yeah. Yes. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. If you don't want to miss my next episode, hit subscribe. That way you won't. And if you like it, say so. I want to hear from you. And so until next week, This is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.